I refused to let my girlfriend move in after she lost her apartment. Now, she says I abandoned her and lied. I, 28M, have been dating my girlfriend, 27F, for a little over 2 years now. Things have been good overall. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but for the most part, it's been steady, supportive, and loving. We do not live together. I own my house. It was inherited from my grandparents a few years ago, and it's completely paid off. She had been renting an apartment about 20 minutes away. About a month ago, everything changed. Her rental situation blew up. Rent hikes in our area have been brutal lately, and her landlord raised the rent significantly. She couldn't afford it on her own, and on top of that, her roommate situation got really toxic. Think unpaid rent, parties at 3 a.m., mystery strangers crashing on the couch. It all came to a head, and she had to leave on short notice. She immediately asked if she could move in with me, just for a while, until she figures something out. Here's the thing. I like living alone. A lot. I'm kind of a weird guy about my space. I always assumed I would only live with someone if I was married, or at least engaged. Even then, it would have to be intentional, not just because life forced our hand. I need my home to feel safe and peaceful. It's a huge deal for me mentally and emotionally. Plus, if I'm being honest, even after 2 years, I didn't feel like we were at the move-in together point yet. We hadn't had serious talks about the future, finances, or long-term plans. Things were comfortable, sure, but living together? That's a big step. So, I told her no, gently. I explained it wasn't because I didn't love her, but because I wasn't ready. I offered to help her find a short-term rental, or even cover a few weeks of an Airbnb while she got sorted. I really tried to show her I cared. I just couldn't sacrifice my boundary. She did not take it well. She blew up at me, said I was abandoning her when she needed me most, accused me of choosing my stupid house over our relationship. She moved in with a friend temporarily, but barely speaks to me now. Mutual friends got involved too. Some said I was selfish, cold, heartless. One even said, if you loved her, you'd make room for her. I feel terrible, but I also feel like letting her move in out of guilt would have been a terrible idea. Ida? Update 1. First, I wasn't expecting this many responses. Thank you to everyone who took the time to reply thoughtfully, even the ones who were blunt or critical. I read every comment. Some of it stung, but it helped. After sitting with everything, I realized now this situation revealed some bigger cracks in our relationship that I hadn't wanted to look at. We had been coasting, enjoying the day-to-day, but we never really sat down and talked about the hard stuff, where we see ourselves in 5 years, whether we want marriage, how we view living together. I assumed we were on the same page because we got along and spent a lot of weekends together. Clearly, we weren't. I reached out to her again a few days ago. I didn't want to leave things angry. We met for coffee. I explained that my refusal wasn't about not loving her or seeing a future. It was about how I wanted to take steps forward, with intention, not panic. She was still furious. She said it felt like I pulled the rug out from under her, that after 2 years, she thought we were already building toward a life together. She said me refusing to help in her time of need proved I didn't take the relationship seriously, that I played house but never intended to make her part of it. It broke my heart to hear that, but I don't think she's completely right. I do take relationships seriously. That's why I didn't want to rush into a major commitment under crisis. It became pretty clear we're fundamentally mismatched in what we expect from a partner. She needs someone who would have immediately said yes, no hesitation. I'm someone who needs space, conversations, intentional decisions. I don't think we're coming back from this. I'm heartbroken. I miss her like crazy, but I also feel a weird sense of relief. I see now that delaying serious conversations doesn't make problems go away. It just delays the inevitable. If you're reading this and you're in a long-term relationship, have those hard talks early. Please, it's better to know now than 2 years down the road when someone is packing their life into boxes. Update 2. After our rough coffee conversation, we tried one more time to sit down and really talk. I gave her space to express everything, her hurt, her anger, her feelings of betrayal. I listened. I tried to explain again, calmly, that I wasn't rejecting her. I was rejecting the idea of moving in together because it felt reactive, not planned. She couldn't hear it, or didn't want to. She told me I never planned to make room for her in my life, that my actions prove she was just a guest and not a real part of my future. She said she felt stupid for thinking otherwise. At that point, it felt like no amount of explaining would fix it. The trust was gone. The vision of the relationship, what it could have been, had cracked in half. Before we parted ways, I told her I didn't want to leave her stuck financially. Even though we were breaking up, I offered her enough money for a security deposit and first month's rent somewhere new. I said it wasn't charity. It was because I still cared, even if we weren't together. She accepted the money. I thought we were ending things amicably. I was wrong. Mutual friends started reaching out, asking what happened. Some were really accusatory. Why did you kick her out? I thought you two were moving in together. How could you abandon her when she was homeless? Turns out, she had been telling people a very different version of events. That we had plans to move in together. We didn't. That I kicked her out. She never lived with me. That I led her on for 2 years with promises I never intended to keep. It hurt. Bad. I didn't lie to her. I never made promises about living together. I thought we had an unspoken understanding that we were happy where we were, but apparently, she had built a whole future in her mind that I never knew about. I don't regret protecting my space. I don't regret setting a boundary, but I do regret not having deeper, harder conversations earlier. Maybe it would have saved us both a lot of pain. Final update. Some people in the comments, and even some real-life friends, asked, why were you so hesitant about moving in together after 2 years? Isn't that normal? I didn't answer before because it's personal. But after all this, I realize it matters to the story. The truth is, I have baggage. In my early 20s, I was in a relationship where we rushed into living together. At first, it was amazing, fun, exciting domestic bliss. But slowly it turned toxic, controlling, manipulative, emotionally draining. I lost myself trying to make it work. I stayed way longer than I should have because leaving felt like failing. When I finally got out, I promised myself 2 things. 1, I would never live with someone again unless I felt completely, deeply safe and aligned. 2, I would never let guilt or pressure push me into a living situation I wasn't sure about. That's why I was hesitant. Not because I didn't love her. Not because I didn't see a future. Because I needed to be absolutely certain, and I wasn't. Especially not under crisis conditions. I never told my, now ex-girlfriend about my past. I didn't want to burden her or project my trauma onto our relationship. I wanted our connection to be clean, not overshadowed by old ghosts. In hindsight, maybe I should have been more open about it. Maybe if she had understood the depth of my hesitation, she wouldn't have seen it as a rejection. Or maybe it wouldn't have mattered. Maybe we still would have ended up exactly here. I'm sad. I miss her. But I also know I did the right thing for myself. And if there's anything I've learned, it's this. Love doesn't mean abandoning yourself. Love doesn't mean sacrificing your peace to prove a point. And real partnership means building together intentionally, not just reacting to emergencies. If you're someone who has a hard boundary around your home, your peace, your space, you're not selfish. You're self-aware. You're protecting the foundation. You need to build something lasting and real.